Gather around the table once again for another session of Dungeons and Drakfus, and today we're taking on the final added dungeon in patch 4.1, Rise of the Zandalari, and frankly, the most modified, as we take on the revamped Zul'Gurub. Now, like I did with Zul'Aman, here's the brief history of it. Originally, this raid was implemented in Classic World of Warcraft. I can't remember the actual patch number for it, but Zul'Gurub was added in as a 20-man raid, and again, like Zul'Aman, it was added in as kind of a catch-up raid for people who wanted to do the bigger stuff like Ankh-Iraj and eventually Naxxramas. This is kind of a really great jumping-off point for new players and new raiders to be able to get some gear. And later on, it was decided with the Cataclysm that this dungeon also needed to change, and it was changed from a 20-man raid to a 5-man heroic dungeon. And with a little bit of retooling, as you guys saw in the Rise of the Zandalari questline, we had a lot of reintroductions to old foes, as well as some new ones. And let's go ahead and start up Zul'Gurub. And we'll go over the major changes as we go along, and we'll actually go over the lore as soon as we walk in. But yeah, like I said, this was moved from a 20-man raid to a 5-man heroic dungeon, and its story was basically retooled. Now, the sad part about that is there were 2 mounts that you could get at that time. There was a green raptor mount, a Rizashi, or I think it was a red Rizashi raptor, and then they also had a tiger mount, which came from the tiger avatar boss. Both were removed. Now you can get a green Rizashi raptor and a swift Zulian panther instead. But if you have those rare tiger mounts and red raptor mounts from Zul'Gurub, I mean that's a feat of strength right here. That's showing that you've been playing the game for quite a while, because a lot of people continue the Zul'Gurub runs just for the mount for people. It's the same thing happened in Burning Crusade with the Phoenix mount that drops off of Kael'thas. So here we are in Zul'Gurub. Now, technically, you don't have to take care of every major boss. You only have to take care of 2 of them to reach end game, but we're going to take care of them all because Zul'Gurub is a big place, so you guys can see it all. So first of all, let's go ahead and go over the lore of Zul'Gurub. Zul'Gurub was the capital of the Gurubashi jungle trolls, a tribe that once controlled the vast jungles of the south. It was here that Jindo the Hexer summoned the savage Loa Hakar the Soulflayer into Azeroth. Of late, these efforts have begun anew amid an alliance between the Gurubashi trolls and the Zandalari that seeks to establish a unified troll empire. And funniest thing, I've actually brought it up a number of times, but I like bringing it up. There was actually a bug within the original Zul'Gurub that the CDC to this day is still researching, because there was a bug that if you took a hunter pet into there was a blood disease that Hakar would give you at the end. Because that's kind of the end game of Zul'Gurub, is that Hakar the Soulflayer has been summoned, and it would give this blood plague, but it wouldn't dissipate as soon as it left the raid, so your pets would be taking that blood plague into populated areas and creating mass chaos. So I love the fact that the CDC is still studying some of those WoW servers to this day, and actually getting accurate information as to how people would deal with an epidemic of any kind. So let's go ahead and start getting some quests. First of all, from Briny Boltcutter.
Hey, how you doing?
Putting a price on the priceless. Listen, friend, I don't know you and you don't know me, but as long as we're both here, there's something Revelgaz wanted me to mention. Maybe you're taking a stroll through this troll-infested jungle-apocalypse. Maybe you happen to find the priceless troll artifact or 2. Maybe you bring it back to me and I accidentally leave behind a little present for you. If you must know, it's for a project. And no, you can't ask what the project is. So, this is actually for the Cache of Madness, which I don't believe we can do. I'm tempted to come in here on one of my characters that can, because the only way to be able to do the Cache of Madness is by having archaeology as a profession. And I think you have to have archaeology fairly high to be able to do it. So if I have a high enough archaeologist, I'll come back in here and I'll add the footage later. But let's go ahead and talk to Bloodslayer Zala.
Talk to me.
Break the Godbreaker. Bloodslayer Zala points at the temple in the distance. When Jindo was last ripped from this world, he survived as a shade, weak and broken in the spirit world. But Jindo always had the power of the spirits. One by one, he broke them to his will, and with each soul devoured, Jindo got close to ripping a hole through to this world. To be here now, the spirits be with us. We must end Jindo.
Bye-bye now.
Okay, and then we have Tara.
Hey there.
The Beast Within. Bloodslayer Tara eyes you for a moment. After the fall of Hakka, the city of Dagurabashi fell into disrepair, and the jungle claimed most of Zul'Gurub for its own. Some powerful beasts now be living in the cracks and the hollows of the ancient city. We seen the powers them Gurubashi priests wield. They turned the very plant life against us with venomous concoctions. You think you be strong, dispose of these beasts before they become the mindless agents of Jindo. So you need to kill the Flora Wing Hive Queen, Tortun the Slumberer, a lost offspring of Gazrenka, and all of these are in Zul'Gurub on Heroic. So we'll take care of them as we go along. And actually, they're kind of remnants of old bosses. The Hive Queen it really isn't, but Gazrenka is actually from the original Zul'Gurub. You killed him in order to get the I think that was the one for the that you had to fish out to get the polymorph turtle thing for mages, and that's pretty awesome. Now, when you're coming in here brand spanking new, the cauldrons played a major part. They don't anymore, and it's just because they don't do, like, a lot of the stuff in here that was made to do damage doesn't really do much damage anymore. As you can see, I'm like literally running through poison and I'm not really even feeling it. So, let's see. There is the lost offspring of Gazrenka, so we'll go ahead and take care of them. Now, this dungeon was also cool in the regards that they actually tried to do something for almost every profession here. So that's where a lot of these mini bosses kind of step in. This technically was a path that you could use to go up and take on the, I believe it was the spider boss. You can't do that anymore. They took her out. They also took out the bat boss, so you can't take her on anymore. And also, obviously, the tiger boss. Technically, Mandakir is from the original, but he's riding a different raptor, one that you've gotten to know a little bit in your quest. So there have been changes, and also the original Panther boss is dead. In fact, you fight her sister in this one. But let's go ahead, and there is our lost offspring of Gazrenka. We're going to go ahead and take care of that. Boom. So now we have the lost offspring of Gazrenka taken care of. I can't remember where Tortun is, but I think he's nearby. Oh, and there's another guy who we'll take care of as well. So there you go. There's a bunch of lost offspring of Gazrenka. Oh, I can't remember where Tortun is. We will find him, though. Okay, so let's make our way back up here. And we're going to cross this bridge. Oh, actually, no, this is where Tortun is. So there's Tortun. We'll take care of him before we go into the next, to the first boss, roughly. So here's Tortun. Big turtle shell. Big turtle. So there you go. But like I said, there's also like little mini bosses that take care of professions, especially cooking and fishing. I know that they're taken care of. I believe there's a jewel crafting one too. So here is our first boss. And as you can see, he's got a full-on serpent guard, and it's High Priest Vanoxus. So the first guy we met in the quest line. We'll kill off his minions first, and then we'll do the lore for Vanoxus. So here we go. Originally sent to kill Hakka, Vanoxus became enslaved to the murderous entity before falling to Azeroth's heroes. Though through the efforts of the Soulflayer's agents, Vanoxus has been ripped from the spirit world and ordered to defend Zul'Gurub with his venomous serpentine minions. So let's go ahead and pull him out.
You disturb the plans of Gurubashi, little one.
There we go.
For you. Too late.
Yeah, he's kind of a wordy guy, but yeah, he was the representative or the avatar of the serpent, so you actually would take on a snake form with him, since he was the avatar of Hethys. So our next one actually comes from Morlek the Dismantler. I believe this guy was kind of the jewel crafting one that you could take on. Boom. Yeah, so you got a giant sack. Insert joke here. Oh. Fine. If you want to try and kill me, then go ahead. And I believe the giant sack... Yeah, it just gives you mining and jewel crafting stuff. So if you wanted to have that, that's really handy for miners, jewel crafters, and even blacksmiths to some extent. So here we go. This is the other one, which is Kaulima the Mover. We'll kill him off really quick. He gives another giant sack. Boom. So we'll just show that off again. So Elementium Ore and Jasper this was actually a really great way to be able to get gems for alts and whatnot. Or if you really needed to power somebody up. Oh, geez, now we're in the Indiana Jones one. This is actually leading up into Mandakeer's area. So all you got to do is get to the very top, and then this troll berserker will stop flinging boulders at us. I'm kind of sucking at it right now, but I promise I don't suck at this too bad. Dang it! Except right now. Jeez. Ah! I'm already all the way back down again. Dang it! Is it just that this thing has a weird hitbox? Could be. You know what? I'm gonna manually run up. No, screw you. Dang it. I will get up there. It's gonna happen, guys. Dang it. The problem is that it puts you in frickin' combat the second that they get down here. I'll just manually run up. It'll probably be helpful to kind of show you guys. Dang it. So as you can see, it does take off a chunk of damage. So crap, I actually have to heal. I never have to do that. I'm usually the only guy in the 5-man that knows how to do it. And yet, strangely, I'm showing how not to do it. That's funny. Ah, dang it! Seriously! I don't suck this bad, guys. I promise. Okay, well, Water Strider we go. I don't even care. I'm not taking even any remote risks here. There you go. We'll play your game. And now, take care of this guy and screw you. So this brings us up into Mandakeer's area. And as you can see, we have a brand spanking new cauldron. One that's a little overpowered. I don't even think Blizzard realized how overpowered this cauldron was when they introduced it. Or maybe they did, because they knew that speedrunners would use it well. I think it was even workable on bosses at one point, and then it got hotfixed. So, yeah. Here is Bloodlord Mandakeer, who, if you followed the little raptor questline in Northern Stranglethorn, there he is. He is very much a servant of Mandakeer and very much dead. So let's go ahead and read over the lore of the... No, not that one. Read over the lore of Bloodlord Mandakeer. The infamous Bloodlord Mandakeer died a torturous death before Bloodscalp trolls desecrated his body years ago. Word has now spread that Mandakeer walks the jungles of Stranglethorn yet again, using the corpse of the mighty Bloodscalp chieftain Gonzula as a host for his malevolent spirit. Alright, so let's go ahead and take on Mandakeer. He's actually one of the two that gives a mount.
Make peace, worms.
And I don't believe I have it.
Delivering you to Hakar myself. My soul feeds Jindo.
Nope, not so lucky.
Metal-some insects. Now you will feel my wrath.
So that's Jindo talking off in the distance. He actually was one of the original bosses, Jindo the Hexer. He is now known as Jindo the Godbreaker, as he has enslaved the spirit of Hakar and now uses Hakar's power for his own. So he's kind of the end game of Zul'Gurub, and probably one of the biggest frustrations of patch 4.1, because it took a while for people to actually learn how to do his fight. It was very frustrating at the time. Let's go ahead and take care of these guys. Now you gotta kill these guys fast, otherwise they turn into frickin' serpents. Or, oh crap, can you kill off the witch doctor? There we are. I'll just show this off, because they're about to cast it. Or not. I can just kill them. Basically, they're asking for the blessing of the snake god, and they will then turn into serpents and throw a bunch of poison at you. Oh, and we have Zanza the Restless. Does he actually just let you do the cash now? You don't want to be going up this way, man. The spirits be restless. Maybe if you know a thing or two about ancient artifacts, you find a way to put them to rest. Yeah, so this is basically your hint that you need archaeology. I don't think it lets you do it otherwise still. I don't think they've done like a hotfix allowing everybody to do the Cache of Madness. We'll find out, though. Okay, yep, we're gonna need to bring these guys down. So this is technically where you would do what was affectionately called the archaeology boss. So for those who actually did archaeology, you got an advantage over everybody else. Yeah, you actually need to use archaeology, I think, to discern how to start up the event. And unless you have archaeology, you can't necessarily do it. So, like I said, if I have a high enough archaeologist on another character, I will come back in here and probably just do a quick recording of the Cache of Madness fight. If not, then that's just unfortunately something you miss out, but there's tons of videos on it. So this is actually the original way to the Tiger boss, who was the other mount, if you remember. And actually, I kind of wanted the Tiger mount at one point. It really looks like a battle cat kind of thing. Oh, jeez. I'm clicking way too many things right now. And let's see. I also want to show this off. So this is where the Tiger boss used to be. Now, instead, there is a big Void Lord over here, which is Mortax. We'll go ahead and kill him off. He's actually the enchanting boss. So he would give you a free Maelstrom Crystal for enchanters to be able to use for the higher end enchants. So there you go. And you might want to kill off some of these Zandalari guys. These guys are from Zul'Gurub as well, and they are pains in the butt, so kill them off first before you take on any of these big guys. Then we go into this village here, and this is actually the Gurubashi Master Chef. There used to be a quest to kill him so that you could get the Master Chef's groceries. Oh, screw you. So what would happen here is that you would get a bunch of fishing goodies, and in some cases some actual other goodies for cooking. Blood shrimp is just one of the things that he gave. So that would be really helpful for cooks who are trying to get their skill ups, or they were trying to help out their raid. So really awesome way to be able to help out the raid teams by incentivizing them to come in and do this. Now we're coming up on the Temple of Bethek, which is the Panther God. We're gonna just take care of this Berserker really quick. So our next boss is going to be the Panther, which is the other one that gives a mount. Take care of these Tiki Lords. And head into the pyramid, or at least the Mayan pyramid. And take care of Kilnara, who is the sister of the original Avatar of Bethek. And almost wanted a different life for herself, and didn't get one, sadly. As you can see, we already have full-on Panthers in here ready to kill you. Already plenty of stuff that's just out to get you. Here we go. Did I go over the lore of the Cache of the Mad? I could actually do that at the very least. So there's technically three bosses that you can get in the Cache of Madness. You can get Grillek, you can get Hazra, and you can get Renaki. Oh no, there's four, because you have Wushule as well. You know what? I'm going to go over the lore of that really quick, just so you guys have it. Among the hateful spirits in the Cache of Madness is a Grillek, a dire troll stripped of his regenerative abilities by the Loa. Renataki, an infamous and sadistic warrior, Hazara, a seer tormented by dire future visions, and Wushule, a mighty combatant bristling with the power of the storms. And so it's just basically a general explanation, and you would get these four bosses at random. So let's go ahead and go over the lore of High Priestess Kilnara, because we're actually really close to her. When High Priestess Arlok was killed, the Pantherloa Bethek chose her sister Kilnara as her new mortal champion. Supporting the recent pact between the Gurubashi and Zadalar tribes, Kilnara has unleashed her savage panther minions on the region's unsuspecting denizens. So that's basically what would happen here. And here is Kilnara. So the thing that would really suck here is you actually needed to take care of her panthers before she berserked them, and then they would just rip you to shreds. We don't have to worry about that now, but dang it.
With the memory of my sister.
Dang it. I was hoping to get the Zulian Panther, but I technically haven't. Yes, so you couldn't get the Swift Zulian Panther, which is kind of the makeup for we killed off the Tiger Mounts, and you can't ever get it back again. There you go. Now we've technically taken care of most of the major avatars, and actually when this dungeon came out originally, you had to take care of all four. This was at minimum a 5-boss fight, or a 5-boss dungeon. You had to take care of the avatar bosses, which were Mandakir, Venoxus, Kilnara, and then the next one we're going to, which is Zanzil. You had to take care of all of them before you could even face Jindo. So we'll show those off really quick. as we make our way to the new place. So this is the original place where Jindo the Hexer was fought, but now you face off against Zanzil, who had his basically his own plot thread in Stranglethorn as he was trying to create zombies in it. And here's some Gurubashi Berserkers that are very much undead. Kill you off, kill you off. Don't even care that you're targeting me. And here is Zanzil, so let's go ahead and go over the lore of Zanzil. Exiled from the Skull Splitter tribe for turning his fellow trolls into mindless slaves, Zanzil was recently offered a place among the Gurubashi by Jindo the Godbreaker in exchange for bolstering Zul'Gurub's forces. It is well known that his toxic elixirs can even rouse the dead from their graves. And so if you haven't been paying attention, this is basically the Cauldron fight. This is how you know to fight him, is that if you need to be shielded from poison damage, you would grab the green Cauldron. If you need to be shielded from fire damage, you need to grab the red. And if you needed to freeze off some Berserkers that he would summon, you'd use these ice Cauldrons to burn through them very quickly. So let's go ahead and take care of Zanzil. Boom!
You come to laugh at Zanzil too? Zul'Gurub is nothing without me. That. Oh.
And actually, in my guild, he was called Zanzil the Whiner, because that's really all he does, is he whines about the fact that everybody hated Zanzil, and you have to deal with his dialogue while you fight him. And it's appropriate, because he is a little bit of a whiner. Now we're making a quick detour before we hit Jindo, and that's just to hit the final mini-boss of Zul'Gurub. And I believe we can, yeah, you can get to her from here, which is the Flora Wing Hive Queen. So here we are at the Hive Queen. Let's just go ahead and pull her down. Boom. So there you go, all the mini ones. And you can also get the Hive Queen's Catacomb, which I can't remember what it actually gives. Oh, so it basically gives you a bunch of volatiles and some herbs. That's really handy. That's handy too for herbalists. Now it's time for us to take on the Godbreaker himself. He is the only boss left in this area. So let's make our way to Jindo the Godbreaker, but we're going to make one quick detour as I'm going to show off the Berserker who actually gives you stuff for fishing. Again, really helpful. They're not helpful now, but they were back in the day. They've been nerfed down so that people can't take advantage of them. But there is Gub, who is the destroyer of fish, obviously. So all you gotta do is kill him off, and then you get Gurubashi Headhunter, which is just all the mini-bosses, and you get Gub's Catch, which will give us some Fathom Eel. So this would give like 2 or 3 things back in the day, and then they nerfed it down. And this is the final area of Zul'Gurub. This is where Jindo the Godbreaker is. The altar of the blood god Hakkar, which people might remember that storyline from Sunken Temple back when we did that. At least the way that it was supposed to work. Because you actually faced the original avatar of Hakkar that they tried to summon and failed, but now it's been discontinued from Sunken Temple. Or for those who are confused with what I'm saying, it's probably under the Temple of Atal Hakkar. That's what it was originally called. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of this other Berserker because the mechanics of this fight are stupidly difficult if you don't know what you're doing. So, and these Berserkers are actually going to come in handy. If you can't see, there are ghosts. And this will come into play in the Jindo fight. At least, assuming that we actually have that phase. So here is Jindo the Godbreaker. For a second there I thought I pulled, but no, he is just, he's siphoning spirit essence. Let's go ahead and go into his lore. After his defeat in Zul'Gurub, Jindo's spirit was tormented by his failure to serve Hakkar's wishes. Jindo recently found a way back into the world and enslaved the Soul Flayer. Bristling with the Dread God's terrible powers, Jindo plans to restore the Gurubashi Empire to its former glory. And it also helps that he has Andalari backing. So, let's go ahead and take care of Jindo the Godbreaker.
To a great show, friends. Now, just wait till you have a taste of Jindo's for ya.
So what he basically does is he sends you into the ghost world where Hakkar is, and all you have to do is free Hakkar. So here's what you do. You pull these berserkers, and then eventually they will pounce the barrier around these chains. Then all you have to do is destroy Hakar's chains, and you're fine. So here's the body slam incoming. And this used to do lots of damage. Not even kidding, guys. It was a lot of damage back in the day. Okay, so let's go ahead and summon up this guy for the second one. There's always 3. They're always in random placement, but there's always only 3. As you can see, I'm not really taking too much damage here, but this was insane when it came to damage. I even hated healing this. I really did. Oh, did you free the chains already? Yes, you did. You little scamp. Okay, so thankfully, if we've wasted enough time, then the Gurubashi Berserker will then respawn, and we'll use him for the third. Yeah, this was a hard fight to tank, a hard fight to heal, and a hard fight to do DPS, especially if you were a squishy little mage. You would get trounced. Nothing really you could do. But there you go, Jindo the Godbreaker has been defeated.
You toy with powers that are beyond you. Have you forgotten who I am? Have you forgotten what I can do? Insects, I will deal with you another time.
I'm actually kind of wondering if this another time is going to happen in Battle for Azeroth. Are we going to see Hakar again? But there it is, Jindo the Broken. They actually changed the title in the middle. So he was originally the Godbreaker. Now he's Jindo the Broken. All right, so we get the Zul'Gurub Stone and a Chaos Orb, and that actually finishes up pretty much all of the quests that we have. And then you can also do the mysterious Gurubashi Biju, but that's for the Cache of Madness. So all we got to do is go back to the entrance, which thankfully we've pretty much cleared out, so it's not going to take that long. And I kind of want to end this video on another cool moment in WoW for me, as I believe one of these is going to have a final reward next to Booty Bay. But first, let's turn the quest in before I speak too soon. As you can see, now that I've made my way through here and Venoxus has been taken care of, there's no poison aura in here anymore. But you still have the bees if they could actually aggro me anymore. So here is the entrance of Zul'Gurub. And the other thing too, if you're working on archaeology, there is an archaeology daily here too. I believe that's the daily for it. All right, so let's go ahead and talk to Zala. Clutches her hand to her chest. It be done then. Spilling the blood of our brothers be a grim task. The city of the Gurubashi has seen only death and hatred for years. Maybe it be time for the jungle to retake Zul'Gurub and wash the scent of death from this place. Blood and honor, champion, to slay Siam Kurashi. You will always be known as the Blood Slayer. So there you go. Then Tara. Tara's tusks shift slightly. Is she smiling? You done well. We gonna rest easy tonight knowing Jindo and Zanzil ain't gonna bind them powerful beasts against us.
Be seeing ya.
And then finally you have Overseer Bling Blang.
Yeah,
Bling Bang.
what do you want?
Booty base interests. Did you find something, Drakfu? Yes, I did. You killed them all? I wish that would ease my mind, but these guys seem to have a habit of coming back from the dead. And, well, what's that you have? Ah, you say it might keep them out of Booty Bay? Now we're talking. All right, I said I had a reward for you. Sure, just give me a minute to find it. There you go, a shiny reward. There's a stash of loot located in the statue of Generos Point just northwest of Booty Bay in Stranglethorn Vale. Head to the statue and claim your prize, monk. So, this is actually really cool. And I think we're close enough that if I fly, it won't take too long. But I always loved doing this on my alts back in Cataclysm, just because it's one of those little nuggets of coolness within WoW. So all we have to do is fly directly south. And all we have is, so we are flying all the way over to Booty Bay. And in Booty Bay, there's a statue that's basically supposed to be like, I think it's Rio de Janeiro. It's like that big statue of Jesus. This is basically WoW's iteration to that. And it's a statue of a goblin called Genero's Point. Yeah, I think it's Rio de Janeiro that has it. So at this point, you actually get to go inside the statue where the goblins have been stashing a bunch of stuff. So it's gonna be worth it. But in the meantime, just to make sure that this doesn't take too long, we're going to quickly magic cut until we're nearby Booty Bay. Okay, so we are in the vicinity of Booty Bay, and here is Gennaro's Point, so you can see the big goblin statue right here. And as he said, we can actually go into the statue, and we can claim some stuff from the goblin stash within, as we have taken care of the troll problem that they were dealing with. So all you got to do is come over to this side, which you can fly into. And oh look, there's a little bit of a big chest right here. Loot at last. So you can get some black ice, which is a toy. You can get some stuff that will sell for good prices of gold. And there you go. That is all that you can do for patch 4.1, aside from constantly run Zul'Aman and Zul'Gurub back in the day while we were waiting for the next patch. When we get back next week, though, we're going to be taking on the events of the next patch, 4.2, as we deal with the rage of the Firelands. We'll see you guys next week.